I know. Yeah, something really easy.
I mean, that would be sick at some point.
Yeah, that was like, I saw something on Canva and was like, oh, I can make that the logo.
Yeah.
But that's just more of like a cool design.
That's dope too. I just noticed that.
Yeah, the good.
Yeah.
It's the same thing I got tattooed there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Well, yeah, we're rolling. We could jump into it anytime.
Righteous.
Yeah, dude. Going right into the fire.
Fair enough.
But Brayden, man, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, dude, I'm honored. Seriously, like I feel like the most regular dude. So
dude, not at all.
I'm honored to be invited.
I met you last year in the Ragnar. We ran the Ragnar together.
Yeah.
And there was something like, I don't know, about our group or whatever, but like we were all gung ho to always keep running.
First place, dude.
We did get first place in corporate. Let's go. Forgot about that.
That is a good asterisk put in there because corporate
the
division isn't
corporate
super
division. We did beat the Harry Potter Club though.
Oh, dude.
So that was good.
For our lives, we were gonna beat Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, that was like
Gryffindor, whatever they were.
Yeah, Gryffindor, whatever. But yeah, man. I mean, that was like my first time I ever met you.
Yeah.
And like your attitude the whole time was like, all right, I got more. Like I got another 6 miles, whatever. And then like you were just a positive dude the whole time.
I appreciate that.
I think that goes a long way, especially in running.
Oh yeah.
But that was my first time I ever got to meet you. So
yeah, I mean, so it was like what 24 hours in a van, and like not to be dramatic, but I feel like you're my brother now.
Yeah, dude, seriously, like it's crazy.
I don't know. I've always like seen the Ragnar stickers on the back of people's cars and stuff, and I'm just like, whatever. Like that's so overdone. But then it's like we did it, and our van specifically like pushed so hard.
It was
I was
fun.
like, you know what? That was like, call it trauma bonding or something. But
yeah,
no. Like,
it's
all you guys, Parker, like Teanu, and that was such a good run, dude.
It really was fun, man. It was like I remember, I think you were in the van with Parker and I when we were trying to sleep. You were like in the front row or something like that.
Yeah.
And we're both pretty tall, so it's like we're just crammed in this thing, man. But like that really is it. It's just shared suffering together.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Do you know who Chris Williamson is? Have you heard of that guy?
I'm not sure. Not off the top of my head.
So he's a podcaster.
Okay.
But he talks about this thing called chosen versus unchosen suffering. And chosen suffering helps get you through the hard times where you don't get to choose the suffering that life puts upon you. And that's definitely a time where it was like you literally choose to suffer for 24 hours.
Paid for it too.
It's fun. Yeah, literally. You pay for this thing. We all pay for the van. But man, it was worth it.
I've heard that concept, the chosen versus,
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, I really think that is true. It's nothing like the guys who fight overseas, but they all say the same thing. Like, different lifestyles, different parts of life, they all come together, and by the end of it, they're brothers.
Yeah.
So,
no kidding.
It is cool, though. But, yeah, man, I just love what you're doing. I think it's awesome.
Thanks.
You might think you're yeah, well, I appreciate that. But, like, you might think you're a regular guy. But I think to other people, it's like, dang, Brayden's doing some cool stuff.
Trying to.
Yeah. When did that all start? How'd you get into endurance and running and the whole journey?
Fear, honestly, is the long and short. I turned, I don't know why, but I turned 29, and I'm going to age myself. I'm old now, but I turned 29 a few years back, and something about that birthday just like hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, I'm going to be 30 next year.
Yeah.
And like, I wasn't, happy with, mostly just physically. I think, life's been going pretty good for a while, but like physically, I was just not it. I hadn't done anything. I'd been in and out of the gym, as long as I hadn't torn my shoulder. It was just like this cycle of not doing anything physically. And now I've got like 2 kids.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to be this dad who can't do anything.
Yeah.
And I don't want to turn 30 and not be able to run a mile without like passing out. And so it literally just started at 29. I was like, you know what? I got to do something. So I talked to some buddies, and we decided on a Tough Mudder out in Colorado. So we flew out to Denver to do a Tough Mudder, and we were deciding on like the distance. They had, I can't remember exactly, 2 or 3 distance choices. And I was like, and I, granted, out of shape, no reason to do this, but I was like, let's do the hardest one. Like, because I knew, knowing myself, I knew I would try to fake it.
Yeah.
I was like, if we just do like the 5K, I'm going to fake that. Like, I won't train for it, blah, blah, blah. I'll fake it. But I was like, I know if we go and do the hard, which I think it was only like I say only now, at the time it was so long, but it was a 15K, I believe is what it turned out to be.
It's around like what, almost 9 miles
something,
or so?
9 and some change. And I was like, I know I can't fake that.
Yeah.
Like, I might be able to get through it in like 6 hours or something, but like that would suck. Yeah. So I was like, let's do the big one so that we have to like actually commit.
Yeah.
And that's kind of been like, you know, the long and short. That's the story of like how the rest of it happened, is like, I know if I choose something hard enough, I'm going to have to commit. Because and kudos to the guys who do show up and what are they, raw dog events. Like, dude, that's great.
Yeah,
but
I
like,
mean, it's cool, but
hard pass for me.
Yeah, I'm not into it.
I want to show up knowing that like I did my best to put the work in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's why it's like I've always tried to continue to choose things that's like I know I'm going to have to put work in to do that, because I don't want to show up in raw dog things. Like, that's like low-key miserable. That was like,
absolutely, dude. Like, I don't know. I can't imagine. The furthest I've ran is a 50K.
Same.
And if someone was like, hey, you want to run 100 miles this weekend? I'd be like, not a chance. I'm not ready for that at all.
Yeah, and like Goggins would be like, you can do it.
Yeah, Goggins would be like,
but
don't be baby. It's like, no, I don't want to do that. That just sounds horrible.
Right? I want to put in the work beforehand. And honestly, that's where a lot of the joy is found for me, is like, is beforehand. Honestly, a lot of races kind of suck.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like the starting gun to the finish line is just suck.
Yeah.
Like, it's terrible. And everybody's like, enjoy the race, smile, whatever. And I'm like, dude, I'm suffering so bad.
It's like,
right
I'm
now.
going for speed on this one. I'm not going to be able to breathe the entire time.
I had my most fun race in Buffalo, New York a few weeks ago. And it was because it was the first race I'd gone into where I wasn't trying to, like, you know, win against myself. I'm obviously not Connor Mans. I'm not going to win anything. But I wasn't trying to beat myself for once. I went to Buffalo to pace a buddy of mine. And that was the most fun I've had on a run in a long time.
That is cool.
In a race, I should say. Yeah. Just because, like, we were able to chill. Like, I was able to have a great time. And I don't know. It was fun. But other than that, races are brutal. Like, it's
they're tough. Fest. Yeah, like, they are really tough. I told you we dropped out of Grandma's marathon. Yeah. And I saw, like, all these athletes from BPN posting about their experience and stuff. Yeah. And I think only 2 people got the times that they wanted to.
I think we saw the same video.
Yeah, and it was like everyone was just like struggling. I was like, man, that must have been just like tough conditions.
This Fonzie dude missed his by like 30 some odd minutes. Yeah, and I was just like,
that was nuts.
Dang. Our boy Luke Hopkins, he was really close. I think he wanted like a 250 or something at a 253 or somewhere like.
Still
he was fast. Right in the range. He was the first one in the video that was like close. Everybody else had a rough weekend. Yeah. So you might have done good by pushing it back a year.
Who knows, man? I mean, yeah.
Maybe it won't be as hot next year. I heard that was kind of a.
It was the heat, and then like the night before, we got all these emails that was like, there's 30 to 40 mile an hour winds with 2-inch hail. And all these like weather advisories, and then the day of it got delayed 30 minutes because of weather, and then I guess it just like got super hot. Dang. So I don't know how that happened.
Delays are brutal. I don't know if you've been to many races where they've delayed the start, but that sucks.
The only one that I've done is the rock and roll one in Vegas.
They delayed it?
Yeah. Well, it was just like, I think 33,000 people were there. And it was massive. Like,
jeez, I didn't realize it's that
big. Biggest running thing I've ever done. And the reason it was taking so long was just because there were so many people. It was like hard to get them all in the corral and then send them off. But that was brutal, and it was hot. So
I can't imagine.
It's a good time. But yeah, man, I want to go back to kind of like what you were saying at the beginning piece, the fear, because I think that's like really relatable, at least for me. Like I relate to that 100%. Like I have a lot of habits that can easily take over my life, and like I'm a glutton. Like I'll eat a bunch of crap and then like lose all my fitness real quick.
Right.
So I kind of like have to keep myself in check in that way. But like I recognize that same thing. Like, you know, if I don't take care of my body now. And some people might argue that going in races and doing distance like isn't, which, you know, say what you want, but I think it keeps me healthy, like at least mentally. But like it was a big piece of fear that drove me to do it, and I wanted to just prove to myself that I could always keep getting better. And no matter how small that progress might seem, but like, I don't know. I wear this quote around my neck, the man of the arena quote. Have you ever heard of that from Teddy Roosevelt?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's like my favorite one, just because he's like, hey, the credit goes to the guy who actually tried.
Right.
And like you're saying, like you want to be prepared for a race. The best way to do that is to train, to, you know, dig deep when the training runs get hard, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so what was like training for the Tough Mudder like? Because you
Garbage.
Yeah, so like your first time, like
So I had, admittedly, I was like, I'll use the term athletic loosely here, but I was like athletic in high school, right? I was probably the most mediocre at any sport. But
Did you play any sports?
I tried. Yeah, so I did cross country and track, and then I wrestled. When I was younger, did everything, you know, as a kid, basketball, football, baseball, whatever. But kind of stuck to like track and wrestling as I got older. But again, very mediocre. I didn't take anything seriously, and I do kind of like regret that. Not that I could have been anything crazy. Like I'm not going to be that guy, but I could have put out a lot more effort for sure. Yeah. So I have like some athletic background that I was going off of, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'll just go hit like 5-mile training run to get ready for this Tough Mudder. And immediately, I think it took all of 2 weeks and like 4 runs for me to have like inflamed my IT bands so bad that I like struggled to walk.
Yeah, that's brutal, man. IT band syndrome is tough.
And I had no idea what it was. I was like, oh, I'm tearing something. Like something isn't just not. I could tell obviously something's not right when it feels like you've got this like metal cable that's just like
it's the
jacked
worst
up against your knee. And so I was like, I don't know what to do. And luckily, one of my good buddies, Jace, was there, or not there, but I was able to bounce like, you know, talk to him like, hey man, you're a runner. Like, what am I doing? And he was the one who like corrected me, got me on like the right path. Cause I went out and I loved our cross country program. We had great coaches, but like structure kind of sucked. It was just like, hey, go run 8 miles. We'll see you, see you back here whenever you're done with that.
I've heard that a lot actually from people who have done cross country. It's like, they just
there
tell
was
you to
no,
go.
Like, I mean, we would do, I guess to be fair, we would do like a track day, an interval day every week. So it's like we had some, but I don't think any of us understood that the rest of the runs were probably supposed to be fairly easy.
Yeah.
It was like 5 days a week after school, we're going out and we're going as hard as we can for 3 to 8 miles.
Yeah, that's
and
brutal.
That's practice.
Yeah.
And so that's all I know. So when I start training again, it's like, go out as hard as I can. And in my brain, I'm just like, okay, if I go faster, this will be done faster.
Yeah.
And I come to find out that's a terrible mindset. I had to slow way down, you know, and then you start learning about zone 2 and XYZ. But I was glad I had somebody at the time, Jace, who was already running, to kind of correct that. Like, hey, you need to slow way the heck down. So I went from trying to hit like these sub-9s to, honestly, I spent like months between like 11 and 13 minute miles, just trying to like figure it out, get a base, not be injured, because the IT thing was a real buzzkill.
Yeah,
because it affects like just while I'm on my feet for work, and so it affects like just being alive, like trying to get through the day.
It's tough.
IT band is garbage, and so slowed down a little bit. Didn't have a great training, but just enough to get through the Tough Mudder. And then that kind of like, once Tough Mudder was done, it was like, okay, I need to do a half marathon. I don't know why that was the progression, but I was just like, I finished this, I need to do a half marathon. So
I mean, 9 miles is a little,
and
why not?
That was the next thing.
Dang, man.
Training for that didn't go well either.
Really?
It's like, after that, I do feel like I finally kind of figured it out. And that was like the beginning of, it was 25. So that was the beginning of 24. I kind of figured it out. And then I had a really good race year last year. And then this year, I had goals for all these PRs, and I kind of sidelined all of it to like change up what I was going to do. And did some doing some triathlon stuff now. But been a lot of fun, been a lot of learning. Holy cow, so much learning.
I know, man. It's like, I kind of approached it the same way. Like, running's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, one foot in front of the other.
Yeah, one foot in front of the other. You just try and go as fast as you can, like you said, try and get it done. And that was always my approach back then. Now it's like, I try and get as smart as I can about my running. So I'm learning about like the posterior chain, which is, you know, your back, your glutes, your hamstrings, your calves, like everything like that.
Mine is really weak. So.
Yeah. Mine is too. Like that's what I'm learning. And
Man.
the reason I started finding out about all this stuff is because my wife has runner's knee really bad.
Oh shoot.
And like she got to the point to where she would run and then it felt like she had knives in her knees, so she'd like stop. And I was like, I wonder why this is happening. And so a lot of it's like mobility work and like you said, like just learning so much. And but yeah, my start kind of was very similar. Like I had no idea what I was doing.
You've done it super well though, coming back from
luckily
learning about the tumor and whatnot to like what you are, like qualifying for Boston and being the beast you are now. Like it's impressive, man. Dog. Like,
well, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a journey, and like that's one thing. I think the reason I love running and endurance is because you think that you hit a level and that's your stopping point, and then you recognize that you might be able to push it a little bit more, and then typically you can. And that's like what I fell in love with was it's just a mental game at that point. Like, can I push myself harder? Can I stay in the fight longer when it gets tough? And, and also from a place of gratitude, like you mentioned me being sick, like that was some of the worst times and I wasn't able to run and stuff like that. And so now I know, the blessing that it is to be able to get out and exercise, because I know a lot of people can't. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting that way. Like you learn along the way, but yeah, to your point, it's like you're constantly trying to find ways to improve your form, improve your times, like all that kind of stuff. But
I'm like training my hips in the gym now.
I know, yeah, like it's so weird. Have you ever done Copenhagen planks?
Oh, dude, those are brutal.
Those are the worst.
I can't even I can fake a set. But I can't even really do it.
It's so
unweighted,
hard.
Like just body weight, I can't like even get through it.
No,
those are tough.
I tried it on like, 'cause if you bend your knee, and for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, you basically put your knee on a bench or your foot on a bench, and then you do a plank, but it's only one of your legs. So it's like your groin is pretty much supporting your plank, and you have to just strengthen that. And it's tough. Like,
I realized how weak that whole area was.
I know, and I'm like, man, I wonder if I can be a better runner if I like get all these things fine-tuned.
Yeah, that's the hope. I'm like, dang, if I can tune up, my hips, which in tune, and that's the thing is like everything is kind of a trickle. It's like you tune up one thing, that's kind of strengthening the rest, and all these different things. It's like my training has become so different. When I was trying to lift, 5-6 years ago, it was just like bodybuilding, bro lifting, which is great for those who do that, but like it's not usually as effective for like running. So now instead of like heavy squats and deadlifts, which aren't bad, but it's like now I'm Copenhagen's or Cossack squats and like all these other things that
Bulgarians
look kind of
yeah, those are brutal. Bulgarian split squats, man.
I did those yesterday and those
are my demise.
They still suck.
Oh,
I'm sore today.
They always will suck. Yeah.
They almost train your mind more than they train your legs really well, but it's a mind trainer too.
Yeah, dude. It's like Satan's workout.
Seriously. Seriously.
It is interesting. Like, I don't know. I had on my friend's wife who's a PT. She came on the podcast, and we were talking a little bit about like mobility and how there are just these small muscles that no one really thinks about.
Right.
Like, I don't know if have you ever done like tibialis raises and stuff like that?
Oh, dude, absolutely.
So that's like saved my shins.
Yeah.
I just put like a 15-pound kettlebell on there and just get like 10 sets or 10 reps in.
Dude, the Vasa by my house now has like one of those, I don't even know what the heck it's called, but
is it the Nordic curl thing?
Well, not exactly. It's for like the tib raises, so you can like put like weights on the end of it.
Oh yeah,
and then
you
can just like do the raises that way, and that's freaking awesome.
Dude,
doing it with a kettlebell is effective, but it kind of sucks.
Yeah, no, it's like you can't get range of motion that well, so it makes total sense. But yeah, man, I mean, I think it's all aimed to get you better, and like that's why I have this podcast. Is like, I talk about progressing in every area that you can in your life, and fitness being one. And like sometimes you're like, oh yeah, I need to get my mile times down, or like I want to work on my overall endurance so I can stay out on the trails longer. But it's also like I need to do these stupid exercises that make me look like, like I'm a grandma, but
just stay on the turf area of the gym now.
Yeah, but I mean, it all like plays into each other and just like hopefully makes for a better product in the end. So, but yeah, so you mentioned Moab was your first half marathon.
Yeah.
So what was that
Terrible
like?
choice.
How come?
Nobody told me that was a terrible choice for it, dude. It had like 3,000 something feet of elevation gain.
No way.
So I've never run a half
13
marathon.
miles?
I've never
Oh.
run, that far.
Yeah.
And now I just added, without even, this is how ignorant I was. I didn't even know that at the time. It was just like advertised as like this beautiful trail run. And it
Yeah.
was. Like, it was beautiful. But it also was so terrible. I want to go back and do it now that it's not like my, intro to running.
That's not your first one.
But it was brutal. It was tough. I think I was almost 3 hours. I think it was like a 2:54 or something like that.
Dang.
And yeah, I was just not prepared. Not at all.
Yeah.
For that. I'd run everything on the Jordan River Trail, which for the most part is flat. You can get a little bit of up and down.
Yeah.
But
It's a great trail though. It's like
flat.
it goes on forever.
Oh yeah. Love it for long runs, but not for hill training.
Yeah.
Which is what I should have been doing. I should have been doing nothing but like running the trails around here, and I was not doing that. So my legs were not ready. But I was glad to finish that one. It was another one where it's like just grit. Just finish. Quitting's not an option. Like
Yeah. I mean, that really is true. It's like, I think very few times. I think the only reason you should DNF is if it's like medical reason, of course. But like, yeah, if you're just tired, then it should never be an option. Like you should never give yourself that cookie, It's or that out is a better word to say. Like I think I used to do that a lot, especially when I began trail running, like training for my first 50K. I'd be like, oh yeah, well, I'm just getting into trail running, so I don't want to like go out too hard. But then sometimes I'd like go back to the car and be like, I could have pushed it harder. I like lied to myself. And that was always like the worst feeling. I was like, I hate that feeling. So I always just try to make sure, like you said, like quitting's not an option. Even if that means like I'm dropping my pace down to, a minute slower, it doesn't matter. Like finish the job.
So I mentioned Buffalo earlier. I went out there to pace a buddy. He wanted to hit a specific time, and I was coming off of the 70.3, so like I wasn't in a place to chase my own time, which is why I was like, yeah, I'll pace you for sure. And so we're pacing for his time, and we're crushing it. Like we're ahead of pace for the first like 8 or 9 miles, and then his hill just like blew up. Like I can't remember if he said it ended up being fractured or something, but like it blew up. I could tell he was in a ton of pain. I knew he had to have wanted to quit the whole time because that's brutal. Like I know how it is to run on foot pain, and it sucks. Yeah,
it's the worst.
And at some point, I was trying to be encouraging. I was like, "Come on, man! Like we can still get it if we just do whatever this mile." And he got to a point where he was like, "Failure is fine. Quitting's not an option." And I was like, okay.
You're like,
I love that.
That's good.
Like, I love that, and it helped me understand where his head was at. He knew, like, we were going to miss this. And to his defense, we still barely missed it. Like, he had a great opening to the race. But I was proud to see him push through and just have that mindset of, like, it's okay that I'm going to fail on my goal, but, like, I'm not quitting this. Like, I'm going to finish this race. And what was Dylan's thing, like, 3-4 weeks ago? I got to the point where it's the same. I was like, I had a goal. I wanted to be under 5 hours for that 50K. And I just got to a point where I realized that wasn't going to happen. Like, I was getting beat up. Once it got hot, that thing got rough.
Dude,
like,
I bet.
You left at a great time.
Yeah, no, I was like,
freaking brutal.
It was still nice outside. It was like, oh, man. But
I dug and, like, grabbed that out of my memory bank. I was like, oh, man, Logan said, this. And I had to use that. I was like, it's okay if I'm not going to hit 5 hours. But, like, no shot am I quitting on Dylan or quitting on this 50K, like I'm going to finish this.
Yeah, I love that mindset.
And I feel like if you're an endurance, I guess it applies in all facets of life, but like you got to have that mindset to an extent. Yeah. It's like failure's fine, quitting's not.
Absolutely. Even with like things like this podcast, I failed many times with it, and I just don't want to quit. Like I'll learn each of those times, and same thing with running. Like races where I haven't done as well, or I don't meet my goals. Even on runs, it's like, okay, what did I miss on that? What can I learn from it? How can I get better the next time? Because at the end of the day, it's like, I made this commitment to myself. And in your case, like Dallin or, all the people who you ran with, and I can't remember what his name was in Buffalo.
Oh, Logan.
Logan.
Yeah.
And like, it's important to hold those commitments, but I think it's like, most important to yourself.
Yeah.
Like to keep that promise to yourself of, I said I was going to do something. I might not reach the goal that I thought I would have, but hey, I'm going to get it done.
Yeah.
Like, that's huge.
I really felt like that. I just finished up the Ironman 70 down in St. George.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the physical race that I wanted to have. I didn't put forth the times that I had trained for, and nothing's ever given. So
Yeah.
it's like,
What were you going for in that race?
I wanted to be sub 6,
Okay.
right, which is a very modest. It was my first one,
Yeah.
and I felt like that was like still a reach of a goal, but like, nothing crazy. I wasn't trying to be sub 5 or whatever. I knew St. George. Well, I learned later on, again, my own ignorance, that it was kind of a harder course. It's actually not one of the easy. I think
I
they
would imagine it
regarded
would
it
be.
as
There's
like the
tons of-
hardest 70 course.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I was reading this online and I was like, oh crap, like what did I sign up for? Because as soon as they mentioned it was going to be the last one, I was like, because I was on the fence, and then they said it's going to be the last time we're in St. George. I was like, okay,
You're like,
well,
all right, we're going.
now or never, literally, so we're going.
Dang.
And it was tough. I mean, it was brutal, and it was one, though, that when I got to the end, it was like a mental pat on the back. It was like, you know what, Brayden, I'm proud of you for just continuing to go.
Yeah.
Because when I got off the bike, like the bike is what I was the most nervous about, because it's got like 4,000 feet of gain over the 56 miles. And one of those sections is Snow Canyon, which if you're familiar with Snow Canyon, that is so steep. Like people were walking their like $15,000
Really?
tri bikes. And I was just like, this is brutal.
Oh my.
And so we pushed through that. The bike actually ends up being my best leg of the day. And it was the one I was the most worried about.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a cyclist. I'm slow to classify myself as a runner even, but like my strongest
say you're a
discipline
runner,
would have been runner.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't worried about the run. The swim, I just love-hate with swim, won't get into that. But I was just like, the bike is what I was worried about the most.
And does it go swimming, biking, running?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you start in Sand Hollow, you swim 1.2, and then you jump on the bikes and go 56. And then you finish with a half marathon in St. George. And the run was the only thing that I wasn't worried about, because I was like, I know I can run a half marathon.
Yeah.
I was like, I think that after that kind of effort, I could still put down like a 145 to 150, and that would keep me like, competitive to hit the times I wanted to hit overall.
Man, I can't imagine what that's like after biking 56 miles though.
And so the last 5 miles of the bike, my feet just started hurting.
Oh.
And I was like, what the freak is this about? Like, I've done 56-mile training rides and 60-mile training rides, and like my feet hadn't hurt. And so I was super confused, but I was like, you know what, that'll go away after a couple miles. And it didn't. It got worse.
Like cramping or just like weird
like pain? It felt
Huh.
like literally walking on like pins and needles. Like
Weird.
every step just felt like inflammatory. And I mean, a half marathon's what, like 15,000 steps?
Yeah,
so it's like
that.
every single one is just so painful. And I wanted to be done the whole time.
Yeah.
Because, and I would have like felt like it was a valid excuse. I was like, my feet were hurting so bad. And they did, like later on, I had like bruises down the sides of them or something. Something must have gone. I don't think I was ready. I don't think I trained well enough for that kind of climbing on the bike.
Oh, okay.
So even though I did okay with it, I don't think like my body was like totally ready for that. So that's my only guess. Because I did see a couple other TikToks of people who kind of mentioned the same thing, which like gave me some comfort. I was like, okay, I wasn't the only one whose feet hurt coming off the bike, but it was so painful to run. And so instead of, hitting these 8-minute-ish miles, I was hitting like 11s and 12s in a freaking race, which, I'm not saying that that's painfully slow or anything, but when you're anticipating 8s and you're hitting 11s and 12s, like,
and when you train for that
it
too,
sucks.
right?
Like, that's a mental kick in the nuts. So it was like, I wanted to just quit the whole time, but I just like, it's like, I'm not quitting. I'm not quitting. And when I got done, I was kind of disappointed because I felt like I had so much more in my legs.
Yeah.
Because my feet did finally numb out at like mile 11.
Jeez.
Great, right?
Yeah.
So my last 2 miles, if you go look at my thing, like my last 2 miles are 8-minute miles.
Yeah.
Because it's like my feet
That's
finally
crazy,
chilled out
man.
and I could run again.
Yeah.
And so that was like super defeating being at the finish line. And it's like, I was still dead. Like, don't get me wrong. That's a heavy effort.
Dude, that's a ton. That's a ton of work.
My legs, I felt like still had more to give. And that was sad. But it was kind of a mental, I like pat myself on the back because it it wasn't physical, kind of
Yeah.
like you mentioned earlier. It was a mental finish. I had to just like really dig into the cookie jar and like push through
Yeah,
that
man.
mentally, because it hurts so bad you can't do anything about it, and so it's like just your brain willing you forward.
Yeah.
And I mean that's a lot. Like a lot of the races, especially the 50Ks, you know how that goes. It's
Dude.
like you, at some point you get beyond physical and you have to mentally figure out
Yeah.
how you're going to finish this race.
Yeah, because like I don't know. I mean, you might have a couple blisters that flare up on a 50K or something like that, but dude, my experience, my first 50K I ran in
Here's Arizona.
Arizona. Yeah, it was
Brutal. I mean,
It
I
was
make
hot.
bad decisions, but that's a bad decision. Arizona, come on.
Arizona was a bad decision.
100
Well,
degrees.
originally I was going to run the barriers in Monticello.
Oh, yeah.
But like
Probably still
while I
would've
was
been warm.
I was like carb loading during that time, like three days before. The first day I started carb loading, I got like so sick,
Shoot.
and I threw up all night.
Ugh.
And then the next day, like I couldn't eat anything. And then I was trying to run the race, like I was gonna do it, and it was the Friday before, and like my mom came up and my dad came up from Arizona. I was like, I gotta do this, and basically they were like, you're stupid. You shouldn't do this. Like you haven't eaten anything for 2 days.
Voices of reason.
Yeah, and I was like, no, Mom. Like, look, I'm eating the sandwich, and she's like, that's great. You didn't eat anything for 2 days, and you threw up everything. And then my wife's like, yeah, you probably shouldn't do it. So, anyways, I found a different race, and it was the Stunner Nights in Arizona. So it was like a night race in the desert, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Yeah, and I was
Like,
like,
it's 100 degrees.
yeah, it won't. And that's what I thought. I told myself, I was like, the desert cools down a lot.
Yeah.
I used to camp out there, and I was like, I remember it being freezing, but not in July. Like it was never cold in July. And so we go, like I go there. The race started at 7 p.m. and
Well, that's still, the sun probably still up. At
yeah, the
7
sun was still
p.m.
up. It
It's
doesn't
still
get dark till like
toasty.
8:30 in Arizona, and so like I had an hour and a half of sunlight, and it was 104 when we started,
Oh,
and like I came out that so hot, and I think I was in third place the first lap.
dude.
I was like feeling good, and it was 4 laps, so just like seven
Okay.
and a
That's a
half
lot
miles
better than
each.
31, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, that's 31 laps at a park. That's nuts, man.
That was so dumb.
That's
I love you, Dylan, but that was so dumb, dude.
yeah, Dylan. That's
I'll probably be back
legit.
next year, but it was still dumb.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be there too. I got to redeem myself. But yeah, so like I don't know. But after that first lap, like I had a hat on, and I think it was rubber, not rubber, but it was like one of those like melon type hats.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So it's like kind of thick.
Right.
And
That's kinda
it
how
just
this thing is.
yeah, like held in all the heat of my head.
Oh.
And so like I don't know. After that lap, it was rough, but the second one I went and I would like throw up every quarter mile because like I was
Quarter
just,
mile?
yeah,
Oh.
it was bad.
How did you have anything left?
I didn't. Like I called my coach and I was like, I don't know what to do, and she's like, I think it's just dehydration and heat. Like if you can sip water, then like just do it.
That's brutal.
And so like that lap was my slowest one, but I finally got through it, and
That
I
was
was
your
like,
second one that this happened on?
yeah.
So you're only like 7 miles deep at this point?
Yeah, so when
Oh.
it finally got through, I finished the second lap. It was 15 miles, and I was like, I should probably go to the med station because like I don't know what's going on. They cleared me. They're like, yeah, you're fine. Like all your vitals are good. My mother-in-law's husband, he was like a ex-trainer, like
Okay.
for school
Okay.
and stuff, and so he like took ice cubes and put it in my shirt and all this stuff, but. Basically, everyone was like, "Hey, if you drop out of this race, like that's fine, whatever." And I was like, "I gotta finish this thing. Like, I want to
Yeah.
just see if I can do it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm obviously not gonna hit my pace, but, yeah." And then like other things would happen, like my light would go out, so I'm just running in the pitch black, and it was like, you know what? Add it all up. Just bring on the pain. That's what this is about.
Right.
So, but it's like at the end of the day, it's like I'm proud that I kept going. Like.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. The results that I had weren't obviously what I wanted. Sounds like the same with like you in the half marathon and in the Ironman.
Yeah.
But like, you know what? It's an honest effort. It's the best that you could have done. And I've recognized recently that I compare myself a lot to people on social media, especially
It's hard
dude,
not
in
to.
the endurance space. It's like it's right up in your face.
Oh, yeah. And, dude, it's like what sucks for me is we're seeing this sample of these influencers they're just so fast. And, I mean, good for them.
Yeah,
But
they're
it's like,
so fast.
It makes it seem like everybody's that fast. and they're just not.
Yeah.
Like, not everybody is dropping, 120 half marathons and stuff, or like 250 marathons all the time. It's like,
Or
that takes a lot of effort to get to that point.
Not a lot of people are going to be able to run Boston in jeans.
Oh yeah.
And do it 236.
Let's get into Truett Haynes. Oh my gosh, man, that dude.
But
is
that's a really good point though. Like what you said, like all the work that went into it. Because Truett posted something the other day that was like, I ran my first half marathon when I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so you've been doing it your entire life.
I mean, he's Cam's son, so like,
Yeah,
that's fair. I almost expect nothing less, but like,
yeah, but it's like it really is. It's tough not to compare yourself.
Yeah, it's hard.
It really
it's
is
hard. Just on Strava, not.
Yeah, dude, Strava too.
So with someone's zone 2, like you, is like 7 to 8 minutes, and my zone 2 is like 10.
I mean, yeah, it's tough, but like, it really is like everyone has their own journey though.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big thing. It's just like, and I think it's one of the things I love the most about endurance, and why I was kind of drawn to sports like track and wrestling back in school, is it's there's still a team aspect, but it's very personal. It's a lot of it's you versus you.
100%.
And I like that a lot because, I can go out and, Jace, my buddy, beats me at every half marathon, but like, I'm not trying to beat Jace yet. But
yeah, just wait.
But I'm trying to beat myself, and that's like
that.
There's so much power in that because the comparison kind of, I don't know, dies off a little bit when you can really just fight yourself. Because there'll always be someone faster. Like that's just unfortunately kind of the way it is. Someone will always be faster. But it's like, I just want to be faster than I was, yesterday.
Yeah.
Or last time I ran this race or whatever. Like I'm doing a race on Saturday, and
which one?
It's just 5K up in Farmington. If you're not busy, drop by. It's a great cause. No more victims. 5K, supporting a great effort there with sexual abuse victims and stuff. But like just a cool. 5K. Yeah. They have a half marathon option, but we signed up for the 5K last year, just as something to kind of fill the gap between some half marathons that we had been doing last year. And after we did it last year, like, we're doing this every year. Yeah. It's got the best swag bag. Like,
really?
Insane.
All right.
One of your previous pods talked about how some races don't give out medals and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that was my gives DJ out, buddy.
Oh yeah,
DJ Take Two.
Yeah, man.
That guy's legit.
Some of this race goes so hard, and it's just
really?
a 5K, but it's like this swag bag is next level.
That's so
it's
cool.
So good. So we're going out to do this, and my only Jace won it last year, and
dang.
I assume his goal is to get close to that again this year. So he's genuinely racing other people. I'm going to race myself. Like last year I did like a 22:50, and this year it's like I got to go sub 21. Like I would love to go sub 20. I just haven't trained for that really this year. A lot of my training's been, long distances and cross training with the bike and swim. So I think if I would have had some time to actually train for a 5K, maybe. But I do want to go sub 21. And that's the fun part about this sport. I don't need to go out and win a local 5K. Not that my sub 21 will get me close to winning anyway, but I just get to go out and win against myself, hopefully. PRER, That's where we're going with this one. Is like, I'm going to hit that on Saturday because I want to beat myself. And that's what I love about endurance. It's just like, it's you against you. Yeah. Obviously, you get to Connor Mance and Clayton and these guys level, and it's like, okay, there's money on the line. It's not just you against you. It's like you against the best Kenyans out there. But I love the you versus you, and I feel like that helps a lot when I start comparing, because it's so easy when you see Luke Hopkins just being super shredded and then still being super fast. It's insane. It's so hard to not just get sad about that.
I know, you're like, how come that's not me? And it's
part of him motivates me, and part of him makes me so sad.
I know. It's same with Nick Bear.
Oh, dude, the OG of making me feel bad about myself.
Yeah, man. I mean,
just so shredded, so fast. Yeah.
He kind of started all the running hype recently, at least getting on social media and stuff.
Dude, that Go One More Ultra, I honestly think is going to change the game for running, for the way running is viewed. Yeah. It's that was such a public thing. It was awesome. I love that people were drawn into that.
I was literally watching all day, my wife and I. Same. And she'd be like, oh, Lucy just dropped out or something. I'd be like, oh, Davis. Dang, crazy. And like, I don't know, it's just, it's so cool just seeing people get together and be like, let's see how far we can all go.
Yeah, let's see how far we can push ourselves.
Yeah.
Kim and Kendall were like gonna die to get there.
Dude, that was nuts. Yeah, that was insane. And like the weather
man.
stopped them, so who knows what could have happened. But
Which is sad. Like,
I know.
a little frustrating almost. It's like I wanted to see who was gonna die.
I can't remember where it is. I think it's in Europe right now, but there's a backyard ultra.
Oh, Australia.
Yeah, Australia.
They've been
dude.
going for like 4 days.
Yeah, they're at like 400 and I think 40
Holy
miles
cow.
or something like that.
I had no idea what was going on. I wish I could have like followed that live stream. 'cause
Australians
that's
are built
insane.
different, I guess,
oh
man.
My gosh,
Like,
yeah, dude.
Do you know who Ned Brockman is?
I've heard that name. I can't say I could tell you. About
So
him,
he
though.
just decided like he's gonna run all the way across Australia, which I think is
Oh dang.
it's like
heinous amount
2,000
of
something
mileage.
miles, and like he did it.
Really?
And people were like calling him out and like saying like, oh, that was fake. It might not have been him actually. It might not have been Ned Brockman. I can't remember who, but some Australian runner. I'll have to.
Sent it across the country.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just gonna go.
Dang.
And then, oh man, who's the other guy?
Dude, have you heard of Matt Johnson?
Yeah, I know
He's
Matt
like-
Johnson.
He ran Texas, I think, like north to south last year, and now he's doing it like east to west or something like
Really?
that. It's like 1,000 miles he's
Oh
gonna
my
put
gosh.
down in like I think 3 months or something like that.
That's insane.
But yeah, he's nuts too. He's awesome. Because he's just so real to me.
Yeah.
He's like an influence. Like I don't compare myself to him, just because he's the most real of all of them.
Yeah.
Like in my biased opinion of influencers, like he very like unapologetically shares his story of
Yeah.
going from broke, sleeping on the mattress on the floor, to just sending it on social media and hoping it would stick, and it eventually did. And now he's like got a running club with Jelly Roll and like
Oh, that's cool.
all this cool stuff. And now he's going to run across Texas the other direction, which is even longer and more insane. But like,
When's he doing it, in the summer or no?
I think he's like still over 100 days out, so I assume kind of earlier
Okay.
this fall.
Yeah, I was gonna say
But
Texas summer
beast,
would be
dude.
insane.
Oh yeah.
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 I don't know. I mean, I just love like the running community. At least for me, has just been like really supportive. That's actually one thing that the Take Two and I actually talked about, was like how it's really cool that you go out and it's like a race environment,
Yeah.
but everyone's still like, hey, like you're gonna do great. Like
Yeah.
you got this. And then there's people on social media like. I feel the same way about Andy Glaze. I don't know if you know
Love
who he
Andy
is.
Glaze.
That guy just seems like the most genuine, down-to-earth guy
Yes.
ever.
His hallucinations kill me.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, he what was it? Was it Cocodona or the Monster 300 where he's like, yeah, I saw robots.
Yeah.
And he's like, I thought they were gonna fight me or something. And it's like, that's just nuts. Like I can't imagine getting to that point where like you're
Yeah.
hallucinating in a race. But I mean, hopefully I get
Awesome.
there. Like
I was gonna say it is on the list of things to do
Yeah.
down the road, but
yeah, definitely. I wanna get to that point. Like.
you want to do like 100 one day?
Yeah, so
more?
my goal is, I mean, we're doing a 50K this year in Canyonlands, which
That'd be awesome.
shouldn't be bad. I was thinking about the elevation. Overall, it's like 2,400 feet of elevation.
Okay.
So your half marathon had more than my 50K will. So that's pretty good. That shows you how hard that was.
Yeah,
that's
that was
insane.
tough.
And then in April of next year, my brother and I were doing a 50 miler in Sedona, Arizona.
Oh dang.
So that one will
Okay.
be tough.
Even Arizona races, man. You
I know.
love
Well,
some
Sedona
heat.
would be nice. Sedona would be
Yeah,
good. Hopefully, like
they're a little higher elevation, yeah.
yeah, and it's like beautiful red rocks.
Nice.
So
Nice.
it'll be a good race. But and then after that, yeah, I want to see if I can do 100 and then 150. Who knows?
Dang.
But I don't know. I mean, it's just like I love running. I love the speed side of things. But then also like part of me is like the trails are where it's at. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
just love getting out in the trails, being in the mountains, being in the sun, and seeing like a stream.
Right.
The only thing I'm so worried about is mountain lions, but other than that, it's like I'm fine. So, yeah, I mean it's cool, and I always like sometimes I'll get discouraged and be like, I'll never get to that point.
Right.
But then like I always remind myself, people have always been in this situation, like
Yeah.
who start these things, they've always been in the beginning. Like you read Undeniable, right? Or
Yeah.
listened to it or
Yeah.
something. Courtney DeWalter talked about that in the book.
Yeah.
How like she ran her first marathon when she was 25, and now she's like, they call her the goat of ultra marathon running because she
she's a
literally
beast.
like doesn't stop, and she's fast. But she talked about how like she first found out about a 50K and like went and tried it, and then was like, I want to keep doing this, and kept pushing herself. And she DNF'd her first, I think it was a 60K actually, she DNF'd. But like, it's just cool to see that the people who we look up to go through the same challenges and battles.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
we're all just in different parts of kind of a similar journey.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that's cool. I do want to ask you, because you mentioned your kids at the beginning.
Yeah.
What do you hope that they take from your example?
I don't want to get controversial, but I just feel like there's so much like acceptance and almost promotion of just being generally like unhealthy, out of shape, overweight, not going to the gym, XYZ. And I'm not some shining example of gym going, but like, I just want my kids to feel like it was super normal and that it is the norm to like be in decent shape. You know? You can, I could run a 5K at any time, or a 10K or whatever. You know? I want them to just look at fitness and health in general and just have it be something that's normal to them, right? Instead of normalizing, like, I think body positivity is a great thing, you know, to an extent. Like, man, if you're in really bad shape, you should fix that. You know, it shouldn't be glorified. You take steps to fix it. There's always a fix, right? I'm a huge believer. There's always some kind of fix. It's just how bad do you want it?
Right.
And most people just don't want it bad enough, and that's fine. But for my two boys, I'm hoping that I can try to instill in them a little bit of that desire to like find out what they're made of. I think Goggins kind of opened my mind to it the most. I can't remember which book it was in. I think it was in the first one, but he gives this analogy, and it's about like when you die and you get to the gates and God is showing you like the video, and he shows you the video of what life you were supposed to have led. And in Goggins' scenario is like, you know, he's supposed to be an ultra marathon runner and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Everybody's scenario can be different, but that was like a really impactful, like, imagery thing for me.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, man, you know, and growing up in religious Utah and believing, you know, certain ways is just like, that was so impactful for me to hear from Goggins, because I was just like, man, I don't want to get up there. And God was like, you were supposed to set the example for your kids, you know, and you didn't. You just kept being, you know, kept eating the entire box of donuts. Instead of only a couple, you were eating the whole box every single time. Yeah. And so I hope, you know, depending on whatever happens in the afterlife, I can get up there and he's like, yeah, you showed your kids exactly what they're supposed to do. And I'm hoping they took to that. Hopefully they're way better than I am. They've got an awesome mom who's hopefully given them a lot better, just like genetic and mental things than I'm passing along. But I can at least, I hope to show through some example that like fitness is normal, being healthy is normal. It's what we should do. And we should chase, you know, physical goals. Yeah. I hope they're probably still a little young now, but like, they've seen me cross a handful of finish lines. Yeah. And to my oldest, he took note that I lost to Jace. So
he's like, yeah, Dad, come on.
He sees Jace come through, that he's like asking my wife, he's like, where's Dad? He's like, he's not as fast as Jace.
So he just had to rub it in your face just a little bit.
Yeah, no kidding.
Dang.
Oh man. And so yeah, he always, but it's like, so I'm hoping some of that is starting to stick, where he's like seeing me cross finish lines and seeing me train. You know, even today when I left the house, he's like, where are you going? I was like, oh, I'm headed to the gym real quick. And it's like, I want him, you know, I want that to be normal for them. It was not normal for me growing up. My parents did a lot of great things, showing us that fitness and caring for your health was unfortunately not one of them. Yeah. And I think they would agree. I don't think they'd be super offended that I said that. But like, and I just want that aspect to be different. There's parts of my childhood that I'll never be as good as my parents at doing, but there's other parts where I hope, you know, I can improve and like show them that, hey, it's good to be physical. It's good to be strong, you know, and it doesn't have to be all toxic masculinity or whatever, you know, it's just like taking care of yourself. You're more valuable to yourself, to society, if you're strong and in shape, right? Let doctors have everybody else that needs that, man. You stay out of there and get yourself fit. So I'm hoping that's kind of what I leave with them. I'm hoping they pick up on that. My wife, she busts her back to working out. She's not into endurance like I am, but she goes hard in the assets or the facets that she goes hard in.
Yeah.
You know, she loves going to the gym and staying fit that way, and that's great for her.
Yeah, it's
endurance
huge.
isn't for everybody.
No, yeah.
I think it should be, but it's
I mean, I just love it because, like, I love a lot of the things that you said there, but, like, endurance specifically, it's like, it really is just the hard work that I put in will equate to some reward. And if that's, like, crossing a finish line and getting a medal, awesome. But if it's just, you know, you just want to stay in shape, then that's just as good. But I think that's awesome. And it's like, it truly is just the example that you set. Like, my brother, like, a couple things about my brother. So first, he was like pretty overweight.
Oh yeah.
And
is he about your same height? You guys about the same?
He's a little bit taller than me.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
but he was like 265.
Oh, sheesh.
So he was like a big boy.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of that dude because, like, from our wedding photos, like when Allie and I got married, he looks completely different from then to now. Like, now he's like 203 pounds.
Oh, dang. Good for him.
Yeah, but it came from like a conversation where, you know, he's like, you know, I want to run, and I was like, you got to lose some weight. Like, you got to start eating better and all these things. And like, I think you're right. You're spot on with, like, body positivity is a good thing, unless, like, you know, it's causing someone to be more sick. And like, sometimes you got to step up and have a hard conversation, but it's like for the, you know, because out of love, like that kind of thing.
And I feel like that gets missed on a lot of just social media and stuff. It's like, I'm not, you know, it's not condemnation. I'm not condemning you because of the way you are. It's like, I love you, and I would love to see you see more in yourself. Yeah. You know, and that's the hard part for me, is realizing that, like, it is so personal. Yeah. Like, you have to want it. You can't want it for someone else more than they want it for themselves.
Absolutely.
And that's the hard part, is like, I want these people to make a change, but they don't want it. And that's fine. Yeah. You know, but it's like, it's not because I'm holier than thou. It's, I love you, and I think you would enjoy life more if, like, these things didn't hurt because of your weight or diet or whatever, you know?
I mean, that's why I talk about, like, running and stuff so openly on this podcast, and it's because it has helped me live a better life. As weird as it sounds, like, it teaches you how to stay disciplined. It teaches you how to stay in the fight when you want to quit as much as, like, as painful as it could be. Like, you got to keep going.
Right.
It teaches you a lot about yourself, and then, you know, a byproduct of that is your heart's going to be healthier. Yeah. Your body hopefully moves a little bit better, unless you injure yourself in running, which can happen. I was going to say,
there starts to be a line of, like, you gotta, I'm just so injured from running.
You got to be careful there. But yeah, I mean, it's just like, it's changed my life in so many ways. It's like, I want to share that with other people, and I'm sure at times that can come off as like, oh my gosh, Brett won't shut up about running, but it's like, I mean, I love it. It's what I'm passionate about, and
I feel you.
I mean, it's that's cool though. And the other thing about my brother I was going to tell you is his little son. He's 4 years old, and he just, like, he'll see his dad running and be like, I gotta go run with Dad. So I think it'll probably pay off in some way.
I think that was one of, like, it was a couple months ago. I'm doing a run streak challenge this year with some of my friends.
I was gonna ask you that, because it is every day.
It's freaking every day.
That's insane, dude.
And it's weird. Side tangent. It's weird because I actually feel like I've gotten a lot stronger. Huh. I tried to do a run streak last year, and I just got injured, like, so fast. Yeah. Like, I think I was less than a week, and I was out of my run streak. And this year we're nearing 200 days, probably like 180 days ish. And honestly, I feel so much stronger. I feel like my body is like, it knows I'm coming back tomorrow. So it's like,
all right, let's
get it together. It's ready to go. But one of the nights I had to hit a mile, and it was getting late. And I was just going to do the one so that I could, you know, check my little box and keep the streak alive. And my oldest son, he's 5 now, and he's like, I want to go with you. And that's the first time that either of them have, like, shown any interest. Yeah. And so he ended up running, we did like this one little loop around the neighborhood. This is a quarter mile.
Yeah.
But it's like he got out and ran a quarter mile. And it
That's
was
so cool.
awesome. And I this is like a proud dad moment for me because I was just
Yeah.
like, yes, like he, you know, he's seeing it.
That is awesome.
I don't know if he enjoyed it or not, but he was really stoked to like go run with dad.
Yeah.
And so that was fun.
That is cool, man. Like that's got to be like the most rewarding thing.
Yeah.
It's like put all the medals aside, whatever. It's like
Yeah.
that right there. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, one of these days, like I hope to do the same for my kids, like teach them those same principles and just show them like, you know, it really comes down to what you're willing to put in is what you'll get out.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times it's uncomfortable, but
Yeah.
that's the journey. It's a lot of uncomfort.
I can't remember if it's Goggins or Haynes or one of them.
Yeah.
They probably all at some point have said it, but it's like do something every day that sucks.
Yeah.
And it's like there's so much truth in that. Like even just today, you know, did a little run and then went to the sauna. And it's just the sauna. You're just sitting there. It's not, we're not doing anything like crazy hard. But I had set a timer. I was like, okay, I want to do 20 minutes in the sauna today. And I got to like 16 minutes and I was so cooked. I was like, I'm done. I want to get the freak out of here. But then I was like, no.
Gotta
like,
push.
This is my moment of suck today. Like this sucks. And it's as dinky as that. Like someone had put like a little towel over the thermometer thing so it gets extra hot in there. And so I was cooking. I can usually do 20 minutes, but man, it was cooking. And so I was like, okay, this is my moment of suck today because like I don't want to stay in here at all, but I'm gonna push through for another like 4 minutes.
Yeah, I love it, dude.
So
what have you seen the benefit of doing that? Like having one moment of suck a day?
It just like keeps your mental game strong. You know, so much of life is mental, and I probably know a lot more than I am worthy to speak on about that because like I still have a lot of mental struggles. I'm actually, I can't remember the name of the doctor on your last podcast.
Oh yeah, Dr. Kim Buck.
Kim, yeah. I'm partway through that, and it's actually really nice because it's like I love hearing those things because I have mental health. I mean, everybody does to an extent, right? There's no one's exempt from that, and so for me, like getting on the running endurance journey has just been a way to like reassure myself that like I can overcome these things. Yeah, it's like, you know what? I was 23 miles in and I wanted to be done, but I pushed through another 8 miles. Yeah. Like that, to me and myself, that said a lot. And so I was like, hey, you know what? I'm probably a little bit more capable in whatever facet I am. And I know that because of something I've done in the endurance world. And so it's like I can push through this, or I can think twice about what I'm about to say that's going to blow something up, or, you know? And I feel like it's been just wildly beneficial that way to always like continue that. Make sure that every day you have just that little bit of willpower to like push through the suck.
100%.
And some days it's like, I turned down a donut, which is really hard for me. Or other days
donuts
it's
are
like
good. The maple bars from Maverick, man.
Insane.
Those are the best.
Maverick just came out with, oh my gosh. Maverick just came out with this one that's got like orange cream on top of it. It's so good.
Is it like a summer donut? Come on.
It's so good. It's like, it's so refreshing. But some days that's like my moment of suck, you know, as dinky as that is. It's like, hey, I'm not going to get that donut because I shouldn't. Other days it's like, hey, I'm going to finish a 50K, which is a lot, you know.
That's a lot more.
Different suck than like not.
You might need the donut for that.
Right? No kidding. I definitely had one after that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love the overcoming some kind of suck every single day. Yeah. I feel like it's good to just like keep you on the path. And I love the run streak for that because it's like I'm the kind of guy who will take advantage of any moment off that I can. You know, if I don't have to run, I'm not going to. Right. And so I've loved the run streak because it's like, okay, I have to get at least 1 mile today, and, you know, I'll just stop by the gym. I'll do it on treadmill. Oh, I'm at the gym. I'll just get a lift in. Yeah, you know? Why not? It's like, otherwise I would have skipped that. So I've been really grateful for this run streak, and I'm going to keep it going, I don't know, as long as it makes sense. Yeah. Just because I do feel like it forces me to, like, keep it up every single day. Yeah. Because I'm the kind of guy that is like, I will definitely take advantage. If I don't need to run right now, I'm not going to. Yeah, just take it easy. Because like as much as I love running, it sucks. Like it's hard. It's so hard. It's always hard. Like even Goggins talks about that. Sucks. Yeah. Like I think it's in his first book. He never enjoys a single run. Yeah, and he's like, sometimes I'll sit and look at my shoes for 15 minutes and then finally lace them up and go out the door. And
Everyone deals with it.
I feel that in my soul. I sit in front of the gym for like 20 minutes sometimes, and I'm just like, I don't want to go in here.
I know.
But it's like I'm going to. You
I
know?
got to get it done.
Yeah.
I think that's huge. Like overcoming that, I don't want to call it the weak voice in your head, but like the one that tells you not to, the comfort voice.
Yeah, the Charmin Ultra Soft, dude.
Yeah, dude. The Charmin Ultra Soft. Yeah, that's the one talking to you. It's the bears.
Yes, all the time. It just wants you to be comfy, cozy, and it's like I don't think that's what we were built for. The more I learn about like history, like primitive history, not like, you know, in the last couple of years, but like,
dude, they had it so hard.
It's like they were running down deer and stuff, man. Like we weren't meant to sip margaritas on a beach permanently. Like that can be a great release if you need that, but like we were meant to chase down freaking deer and stuff.
And run away from bears.
Yeah, no kidding. And it's like,
it's insane.
We've become so sedentary, and our goal is now to be sedentary.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, that's something I hope my kids take away is like, you know, Dad wasn't sedentary. He didn't sit on a beach for 6 hours a day. Like, would that be nice? Yeah, that sounds great. I'd go for that right now.
Right.
But like, we're just not built for that.
Yeah.
Like our goals, I think, have interestingly shifted. It's like we want to just chill, and it's like I want to keep pushing. I want to know if I can get up to Timp and back faster than I did last year. I want to know if I can break my record, my personal record in a half this fall or whatever the story is, you know.
Yeah.
It's like don't want to be sedentary anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it just life makes it so easy nowadays. Like your favorite foods are easier to get than to actually cook a meal.
Yeah, just processed sugar.
Process
all day
everything.
long, and
like
it tastes so good.
Yeah, I would take a Big Mac any day of the week. That's man.
So good.
So good. So easy.
It's like.
But like overall, it's just comfort is the silent killer, as like everyone says.
It really is.
But it really is. Like that Big Mac, if you have it one day, you're probably fine. But if you have it two, you might feel bad. But then add that up over, you know, a few weeks, and it's like now you got some extra weight on you, or maybe, I don't know. But it's not going to be good for you.
Yeah.
Spirals. So you get discipline is huge, and then consistency is like what carries you across the finish line. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
Getting started is always the hardest part.
Yeah. Staying in there. Like, I didn't think I was worried about the time I had to try and train for like the 70. Because it's a lot. Like I
still what was that like? Setting up the training
how people train for a full, because that would be like double what I was doing, and it just made me realize how undisciplined I was with my time. I thought I was being effective with my time because I was doing all this running, all this gym work, you know, working a job, raising kids, whatever, and it was like turns out I had a lot more time.
Yeah,
like I just had to be disciplined about it and not scroll TikTok as much and not do whatever, you know.
I know,
and. It was a big eye opener, and since the 70 is finished, I've actually felt kind of lazy because I'm just like, man, I'm not utilizing my time as efficiently because I don't necessarily have to right now. I need to ramp up again because I go into the Spudman triathlon next month, but like it made me realize how inefficiently we use our time.
Yeah, man.
Like I was able to do a lot of that training with very minimal impact. At least, I don't know, we could probably cross-check this with my wife, but like very minimal impact on like home responsibilities or kid responsibilities. It was like I was able to just build in these times to work out that made sense and didn't take away from too many things. You do have to make some sacrifices. You know, you're not going to get away totally scot-free, but like
for sure,
make some sacrifices and just discipline. And it was great because I knew, again, I'm not one who wants to go into an event unprepared. So I knew I needed to make that time and make it happen. And thankfully, you know, whatever with my upbringing, I have kind of that like resiliency in my mind where it's like, I'm going to make this happen because I know I need to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's efficiency with time is just.
Dude, it's important. It really is. Like, you got to do it. And my brother's running into that now because he has two girls that are 2 years old, and then a 4-year-old kid. So he's got twins, and
that's a lot at a young age, man.
Yeah, and like him and his wife, they try and run all the time, and it's like they have to. He always tells me he has to wake up like 5 a.m. on a Saturday just to get it done before the kids get up, and but you know he's like it's a sacrifice. And one thing I loved in Cam's book, Undeniable, was he said that passion requires sacrifice.
Yeah.
He's like, if you're passionate about something, then you'll have to learn how to make the time for it. And
Right.
he talks about it with bow hunting. He always makes sure to shoot arrows every day, like lift, run, shoot every
lift,
single
run,
day.
shoot.
That's what he does.
I love that.
Yeah, he's like, I'll be successful if those 3 things are done.
Yeah.
And it might just be, coming up with that. Like, what are the most important things you need to get done today? And just trying to add it to that. So, yeah, it's cool. But, well, what's next, dude? What's next on the horizon? You said...
So, 5K this weekend, and
Okay.
then Spartan. So, we're doing Spartan up at Snow Basin. Doing the
That's
big one
rad.
this year, the Beast.
What is a Spartan race? Is
It's
it obstacles?
basically like a Tough Mudder on roids.
Really? Okay.
Tough Mudder was great. It was definitely challenging. Spartan is like that next level of push.
Okay.
And that's, I don't know, that's my opinion. Maybe
Yeah.
some disagree, but that's how I felt. Especially because they do the one here in Utah at Snow Basin.
That's
And
gotta
that
be
is
tough. At elevation.
heinous elevation game.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. My friends that like got me into it last year, they're like, "Oh, you're a runner. You'll be just fine."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, cool." So I wasn't thinking like too much of it. And then it's like the running is straight up the freaking hill. I couldn't run. You can't run straight uphill.
You're just
It was
walking.
like power hiking and yeah. So, and that last year we did the super, which is roughly a 10K. My watch said it was like 7.5. So I mean, loosely
Yeah.
classified as
Loosely
a 10K.
10K.
So we'll see if the Beast is supposed to be like a half marathon.
Oh,
but I've
nice.
heard it's like a little more. I've heard it's more like 14-ish. We'll see. But I'm a little bit intimidated, to be honest, because it's
Yeah.
so much elevation gain.
Do you know how much it is total?
I don't. I should. But I think I've avoided looking at it. 'cause
Yeah, I mean, you'll find
I
out.
don't want to get in my head about it. Like, oh, if I have
That's
to
fair.
climb 2,000 feet. It's
Yeah.
like, this is gonna
Go in
suck.
with some ignorance. I mean,
Oh, man. But that's next. And then Spudman, which is an Olympic distance triathlon up in Idaho.
oh, nice. Okay.
So doing that one. And then the big one on my plate for the year is St. George Marathon.
That's a sweet one, dude.
I'm excited. I've completed 250Ks. I've never actually run a marathon.
Really?
I mean, a legitimate marathon.
Yeah.
I've done the 250s, and so this will be my first marathon.
It's a big deal,
So I'm
man.
trying to like really manage expectations. I've got my one buddy's like, you need to break 3, and it's like,
Yeah.
no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Like, not yet. We'll get there. I need to get there. I want to qualify for Boston one day. I want to qualify in this age group. I don't want to wait till I turn 35.
Yeah.
So I've only got a couple years left. I want to get Boston while it's still like in this harder age group, know. So that's like my big focus. I want to see where I'm at this fall in St. George, and then we'll see. Maybe try for a Boston quali at Ogden next year.
Dude, that's awesome.
Because now they've put freaking penalties on all the downhill ones.
Yeah,
so now
that's
you got to pick one
insane.
that's only got a little bit of downhill.
That's
And
crazy.
so Ogden was one of the ones that didn't catch a penalty. So I think that's going to have to be
Is it 5
locally
seconds?
at least 5
Or-
minutes.
5 minutes.
So St. George.
So if you get like a
I can't remember if
2:25.
St. George was a 5 or a 10-minute penalty. I know the Big
Jeez.
Cottonwood is a 10-minute penalty, so you got to run a 2:45 now.
Oh my.
And then everybody still says you have to have that buffer. So really, you've got to do like a 2:42 if you're
Yeah.
going to do Big Cottonwood, which Dylan's going to try and do. I wish the best for him. That's tough.
Yeah, 2:42 is
But-
fast. Dylan, you got it.
Yeah. So I'm hoping if things go well in October, we'll try for Ogden. Next, Ogden's like May. I think it's May of
okay.
26. Try for a Boston attempt there. But that's like my next big focus. I want to get to Boston. After
exciting.
Boston, I mean, I want to qualify. I don't know if we'll actually go back, but like,
Yeah.
I want to qualify, right? I want that little check mark, and I
Yeah.
want my kids to know, like Dad qualified in the hardest age group.
I mean, yeah, it's cool. Like I think that's you totally could do it, man. Like,
So that's the goal.
yeah.
And then after that, honestly, I do, in a few years want to start pushing towards the longer stuff, 50
Yeah.
mile, 100 mile. I don't know about more than that, but like at
Well-
least I do want to, get into the more ultra realm. The 50K is fun and terrible, which
Yeah.
makes me scared to do.
To do 50 as well.
Yeah.
I mean, everything I've heard about him is they're like much slower.
And that's, I think that would be the redeemer is like, because we opened Dylan's at like 9-ish minute miles or less. And that was great for, 6-ish, 10-ish miles. And then after that, it was,
I can imagine it was just
opened way too fast.
Yeah, like, all right.
Story of every race, though, I have no control. I'm trying to get better at pacing.
I'm so tough
and,
at that. Like,
not opening full speed.
Yeah.
That's what killed me at the same 5K last year. I opened at like a 6:42, which was really fast for me last year. But the problem was that first half mile of that like 6:42 was probably like a 5:50 pace. So I just cooked myself in the first half mile of a 5K.
Dang,
man.
Like,
idiot.
Yeah. like, all right.
Dang it. I was way too hyped to get off the line. And so this year we're going to try to
you got it. You got to redeem.
A lot more disciplined about pacing. I'm not going to blow the first 800 and then die.
Yeah. I love it, man. And then hopefully next year, are they doing the Wasatch back next year for Ragnar?
They better be. They're supposed to have done it this year. I'm still bummed that we didn't do that.
I'm so sad. But they canceled it, right? They didn't do it.
They canceled it. Something about permits, I think. But
yeah, did you know that's like the hardest Ragnar in the U.S.?
Is it really?
Yeah, so you just keep
kudos to us.
You keep getting the hardest races, dude. Like you keep choosing them. So no, it's rad. But yeah, we should do that. We should get a group together again. So
yeah, well, Kylie was on the right path. She's like, we're gonna get a faster group this time.
Yeah.
And I mean, everybody did great last year, but always improvement for speed.
Yeah.
And so I think it'd be really fun to get a quicker group and really send it. See what we could do.
Oh yeah. See how many kills we can get.
Yeah, since we didn't get a chance to avenge our title this year, we got to avenge it next year, get that gold medal in corporate.
Yeah, no one's taking that from us, man. No one's taking the corporate medal from us. Come on.
Oh, man.
Well, sweet, man. Before wrapping up, anything else you want to say or share with the audience?
Man, honestly, I'm just like, I'm really grateful for what like endurance has done for me. I feel like I'm a whole new person than I was at 29.
Yeah.
So in just a few short years, I feel like I've really, really learned a lot about myself. I didn't know if I had that kind of mental toughness. And I feel like after some of the finishes that I've willed myself through, like, I know a lot more about myself now, a lot more than I thought I did. And not everybody wants to know more. Goggins was a big one who talked about he wants to know how far he can go.
Yeah.
And one day my wife asked me, she's like, why? I was complaining about something. Admittedly, like I sign up for these things and it does suck. Like anybody who comes and preaches that this doesn't suck is a liar. And so I was complaining about it. She's like, you don't have to do this. And I was like, I know. I was like, but I also have to do this,
Yeah.
And I was trying to explain to her that concept of like, I want to know what I'm capable of. And I know it's going to take, a long time to get there to truly figure out when properly trained with enough time, what we're actually capable of. And she didn't really have interest in finding that out. And I was like, and that's, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But something flipped in my brain a few years ago that like, I do want to know. I want to know how far I can push it, what my body is capable of, and if I have what it takes to get there.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that I've started. I'm glad I found this community. This is what I tend to be drawn to now. My friend groups have shifted a little bit over the last couple of years because I just get more drawn to like, I want to spend more time with people who are pushing themselves, people who are working harder. Jace and I, we grew up together, but we weren't like, BFF or anything. But after the last like year and a half, I would honestly say he's one of my closest friends now.
Yeah.
And it's just because like, I feel like we're both, drawn to that similar mindset of like pushing yourself, getting better.
Yeah.
And even Dylan, we knew each other in the past and not that we ever fell totally out of contact, but it's like now we're a lot closer than before. And I think it's just because we're both chasing similar things. And I love being around that energy. There's plenty of other people who have talked about how you surround yourself with people who are going to make you better. Yeah. And so I love doing that. And Strava has been like a good one because it's like I can keep in touch with all these people who are also really pushing themselves to be better. And that's, I don't know, that's all I hope to leave with like my kids, with anybody who does listen to this, is just like find what makes you tick, find your reason to keep going, whether it's kids or health or whatever. Knowing for yourself, that was just the biggest one for me, to be honest, is I want to know if I can do it. And Yeah. I feel like it's fun to push your limits, see what you're made of. Because you learn a lot about yourself. Sometimes you learn you're not strong enough to complete a task, you know? Or,
Get humbled a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Running is so humbling. You get passed by someone, you're just like,
Yeah. You're
no
like,
way you just passed. And that's super judgmental, but it's like, it's so humbling.
It's amazing.
And I love it for that. But
Yeah.
that's
Keeps you in
really
check.
all. I appreciate you having me, dude.
Dude, of course.
Seriously,
And
thank
you. I literally echo everything that you said, because that's really it. Is for me, it's like, how far can I go? Like,
Yeah.
And then what can I learn about myself along the way?
Yeah.
Because you learn, like, you're not someone who quits. If you sign up for these and you commit to finishing, like you said in the beginning, it doesn't matter if it's a failure. It's about not quitting. Like, just keep going.
I can fail. I can't quit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Goggins even says he looks at failures as attempts.
Yeah.
And pretty easy thing for us to do as well. Like,
Yeah.
because you will fail on this journey, and
Right.
maybe not fail, but it won't go the way that you imagine it to.
Yeah.
And
Nothing
during
will
those
go
times,
perfect.
it's like you got to remember that it's not the end of the road. You can keep going. Just don't quit.
Yeah.
So
And
I
it's
love
just
it,
you
dude.
against you, man.
Yeah,
I love that for this sport. You know.
it's awesome. It's fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on, and it's been fun, like, watching your journey and running with you random times, like the Ragnar and then Dylan's birthday, and
yeah, dude.
Hopefully it doesn't stop. So
Yeah, we'll have to get some runs in.
we'll get some. So
Sure.
yeah, man. But I appreciate you coming on, and everyone else, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. And as always, keep getting after it.